and this is one of the magical things about video, movies, TV, you name it, our mind kind of assumes that everything outside that frame is equally set up perfectly and great and so on and so forth. What we don't know is that, yes, everything inside that frame has been meticulously designed and set up, but everything outside that frame is an utter mess because there's all kinds of equipment and gear and workers and you name it, right? So I thought I'd show you a little bit about what's in my studio as I shoot these things, okay? So with that, I tried to find like one view that isn't a mess, kind of hard. So I'm going to just kind of come along here. So I have a green screen set up. I don't use it for my live streams just yet. I'm going to move these comics so I don't step on them and kill myself and destroy them in the process. I haven't used the green screen yet, but we've got this great big light here, okay? And if let's see, I guess if I come down here, you'll see all kinds of other lights. Here we go. We have a ring light that I use for when I'm, lighting other things, right? I mean, whatever. So I have a ring light, and then I have all my computer cables and gear and so forth. I actually do plan on organizing those a little more efficiently, but right now that's all set up. And then I have all kinds of monitors and microphones set up. So what I'll do is I'll come on over here. So I have this right here. This is a boom mic. I have not used this boom mic in the live streams yet, but I'm planning on using it for some podcasts I want to do. This is the boom mic, though, I use for my YouTube videos. So if you watch any of the videos on Nutshell Brainery, I use this boom mic. I have then this mic. This is the Shure SM7B that I've been using during the live streams. Okay, so we have that set up. And then I have a couple of monitors, right? I have this monitor, and I'll kind of show you, I'll move this around here in a moment, show you how that's set up. And then, of course, back there, right there, that's my hair light or my hair light, headlight. Right there, that's my fill light, all set up on these bars and so forth. So let me come on over here and we'll kind of show you how it's set up from my point of view. Give me a moment. We'll make this work somewhat, right? Okay. So when I'm shooting, there we go. When I'm shooting, this is where I'm sitting, right? I have my camera right here, and then I have this monitor over here that allows me to kind of keep track of the OBS there. So the streaming software, OBS. I also have YouTube up on that, but I have it kind of down. But I have the comments, the chat section there. So I can watch the OBS and then have the chat. So when I'm looking at the camera, I only have to look over a little bit to see the chat. So that way I'm not looking completely away from the camera. Now, over here on this monitor, I have my PowerPoint presentation. So when I'm sharing the PowerPoint there on OBS in the live stream, I'm actually sharing this monitor. Now, the nice thing about having the monitor over this way is with the way it's all laid out, when I look to the right, I know you can't hear me really well, but when I look to the right to look at the PowerPoint, it actually looks like I'm looking at the PowerPoint there on the screen, right? So that's kind of nice. So I have my keyboard and I have my interface for the microphone and the camera. This mic I don't use. Great big light is up there. That's the key light. And then, of course, with the hair light and the fill light. The overhead light isn't on at all during all that. And then, of course, everything here on the wall. So that's kind of the way things are set up when I'm streaming with you guys. So yeah, it's a mess, right? It's an absolute mess, and that's kind of the thing, is that you don't really see everything around when you're watching the video. You're not meant to see all that. You're just meant to see that nice, clean, crisp wall, perfectly lit and so forth, unlike what you're seeing right now, because this is not perfectly lit. All right? So, all right, let's get started. Okay, so started indeed. Yeah, so hey, you know what? I'm going to, I forgot to have that set. That's all right. I'll just have this set over here. I know, right? It's like, don't you have your act together, Lon? You know what? There's a lot of things going on. As you see, right? I just find it so interesting that, here I have it nicely lit. I have the color right. And, I have this vignette going on and all that sort of stuff. When in fact, around me, it's a mess. I love it. So, hey, you know what? We've already got all kinds of participation, so I'll mark that up. But yeah, meal times. That was interesting, right? Here's the thing about meal times. And I think it was Taylor said, yeah, I watched that in high school. Yeah, you did. It's just fascinating, though. Here's the thing. I really like looking at old things in new ways. And in fact, we are going to do exactly that today. Not yet, but stick around, because we are going to watch a 1940s propaganda cartoon in a completely new way now. And to me, that's one of the most awesome things of learning, is we're surrounded by the same old, but if you can learn something new each time you see it or experience it or explore it, it's great. Okay, so let's get started, right? Let's do this. And we've already got a whole bunch of comments and contributors going on and so forth. So I'm just going to go ahead and get us going there. All right. Hey, today we're talking about the invisible hand. Thing about the invisible hand, it may be that you've heard of it before. To me, when I first learned about the invisible hand from Adam Smith, from his book, The Wealth of Nations, I'll just tell you, it blew my mind. I find it incredibly fascinating. So what I'm going to do now is we are going to, and I'm going to go ahead and throw some of these in there because you guys are chatting and I love it. We're going to talk about the invisible hand. And then the invisible hand is the fifth element of capitalism. We're then going to look at capitalism as a whole. Okay? All right. So 5 key ingredients of capitalism. You guys are going to remember these. Hey, Jack. And we got a whole bunch of folks with us. We got Scott and Laura and Michael and Alma and Adrian, and it's great. We got the whole crew. Okay, remember, we talked about private wealth and capital as an ingredient of capitalism. We first came across this when we talked about the Protestant work ethic, how we learned that it became a moral and religious obligation to invest your wealth in the community and in the economy and business and things like that. You remember that. We also have the profit motive. You remember the profit motive. That's the one that says it's never enough. No matter how much you earn, no matter how much you get in life, you always kind of want more. You want more. I mean, it's weird, right? But that's the profit motive. You're always driven to progress. Eternal progression, right? Okay. Free markets. Now, we've only talked in general about free markets. We did not go in depth in free markets, but free markets say free and open competition, right? When we talked about enlightened self-interest, this really alluded to free markets, that you should be able to produce what you want and let the market value it at what it will, and free and open competition. Free and open competition makes sense because you can, it incentivizes. It brings about innovation, lower prices, higher quality, things like that. And then last week we talked about laissez-faire, which is leave it alone. Just leave it alone. Hey, Andrea. Leave it alone. Laissez-faire. Leave it alone. Just don't put in regulation. Let this free and natural system, which will work to the ultimate advantage of humanity, work unfettered, right? And we challenged that, but still laissez-faire. Well, then today, that's going to bring us to the invisible hand. So what we're going to do to learn about the invisible hand is we are going to read through parts of the reading. Okay, we're going to read directly from Adam Smith's A Wealth of Nations. And then what we're going to do is look at all of these elements together, working together in that propaganda film I told you about. All right, so first, let's talk about the invisible hand. All right, first part of our reading. As every individual, therefore, endeavors as much as he can both to employ his capital in the support of domestic industry, and so to direct that industry that is produced may be of the greatest value, every individual necessarily labors to render the annual revenue of the society as he can. What? All right, let me tell you what he just said. He said, as you work your ass off and invest your time, money, and energy to better your material circumstance, to better your life, you're going to help society. You're going to help society. So let me show you that again, right? As every individual, therefore, endeavors as much as he can to employ his capital, so he works to use his capital, in support of domestic industry. Domestic industry means your own life. This home. This is my domestic industry. I am currently, in speaking with you, employing my time and my capital and my resources to my domestic industry. I need to earn a paycheck to pay for my life. That's domestic industry. And so to direct that industry to produce the greatest value, every individual necessarily labors to render the annual revenue of the society as he can. Okay, so again, the key takeaway, put this in your brain. As you work your ass off and invest your time and money and energy, you're going to help society. Okay, now, second part. He generally, therefore, neither intends to promote the public interest, helping society, nor knows how much he is promoting it. By preferring the support of domestic so that to that of foreign industry, by caring more about himself, rather others, foreign industry meaning society, he intends only his own security. And by directing that industry in such a manner as to produce maybe the greatest value, he intends only his own gain, and he is in this, as in many other cases, led by an invisible hand to promote an end which he is in no part his intention. Translation. In fact, even if you're just in it for yourself and your own gain, you help society regardless, even though it is not your intention to do so. Okay? So what he's saying here is that as we really promote our own domestic industry over that of society, we're still helping society, even though it is not necessarily our intention, right? So regardless, we're helping others, okay? So part 3, don't worry, it's all going to come together. Nor it is always the worst for society that is no part of it. By pursuing his own interest, he frequently promotes that of society more efficiently than when he really intends to promote it. Okay, so in other words, okay, I give to charity. Okay, I give to a variety of charities. I give to the Road Home. I give to Shriners. I give to the food bank. I give to radio stations. I give to some charities, right? That's where I intend to help society. But Adam Smith is saying I probably help society more when I'm just working for myself than when I'm actually trying to. I have never known such good done by those who affected to trade for the public good. It is an affection, indeed, not very common among merchants, and very few words need to be employed in dissuading them from it. Translation. And in fact, society is not worse off just because you do not intend to help society. The invisible hand is smarter than designed public policy or intent. So when you're helping yourself, working for yourself selfishly, the invisible hand is taking all of that value and all of that effort and distributing it across society in a way that's more effective than if you tried to do so consciously through designed public policy or intent. Okay? So, in other words, here is the invisible hand summed up. When we pursue our own economic self-interests, we inevitably benefit others, even if this is in no way our intent. All right? So, let me give you an example. Let's talk about this dude. Okay? All right. So, I wanted to be, so I worked for Intel Corporation, whatever. I worked in industry for a bunch of decades and so forth. And I decided I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to leave corporate world and be a teacher. Now, I wanted to be a teacher for me, for my self-interest. I wanted more autonomy. I wanted more flexibility in what I did. I wanted to play with these ideas and get paid for it. Dudes, I get paid to do this crap. Nothing's better. I wanted to spend more time reading academic research and learning all this. I just wanted to teach. Okay? So I went off and got my PhD and I became a teacher, and voilà, maintenant, ici, je suis là. I'm a teacher, okay? But now here's the thing. Hopefully, you benefit from my teaching. I hope, all right? Now, it wasn't my intent to benefit the students. It's my intent to have fun. Now, sure, I want to benefit the students. I truly do. But I'm doing this to pay the bills. But in so doing, I helped the educational system because I got a PhD and so paid a whole lot of money for it. And I, did all this. And so I am helping others, even though it's not my intent. Okay. Now, in the same way, you folks, okay, many of you are in college. Many of you are in college and you're taking my class. Now, you're not taking my class because you thought, you know what? I bet there's a really, really good, cool teacher out there who has some bills to pay. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and sign up for his classes and pay the tuition so that he'll get paid so he can pay his bills. No! You're in class for you. You're in class for you. And that's okay. That's okay, because even though you are selfishly pursuing your own education for your own goals, for your own dreams, and for your own ambitions, you are helping me. You're helping me. Furthermore, you are going to be helping society big time, okay? Would you like to know why the state of Utah subsidizes 60% of your tuition? Because they know that one day you are going to be movers and shakers in the community. You're going to be earning really well with this education, and therefore you are going to be paying taxes. You see, by pursuing your dream of an education right now for selfish reasons, you are helping me today, and you are helping the tax and the economy later. Okay? So, all of that means, and I'm seeing some great conversation here, so I'm going to go ahead and add in more there. All of that means, folks, that the invisible hand works. Now, as we go forward, one of the readings you have, all right, is I Pencil from Leonard E. Read. All right. Now, if you have already read I Pencil by Leonard E. Read, great, wonderful, fantastic. If you haven't read it yet, don't. Google, and what I'll do is I will take this link. I wonder if I can copy this link. Can I copy? It's not going to let me do it. I'm going to get this link to you, or you can Google it. This video does a fantastic job of explaining the idea of iPencil. And it's really a fantastic example of the invisible hand. Let me go ahead and summarize it for you, okay? So, we're not good. I don't have a pencil. I should have had a pencil out. All right, we'll do a pen. It takes a ton to make a pencil. Pretend this is a pencil, right? It has wood, it has metal, it has rubber, and it has a lead. All right, let's just talk about wood. Well, wood needs to, first of all, be grown. So you need people out there who grow farms of trees. And by the way, they really are tree farms. And then you need loggers, people who come down and cut down the trees and prepare it. Well, now, these loggers, they use tools, right? And they use fuel. And they also eat this stuff called food, right? Loggers eat food. And so just to get the wood for this pencil, you need tree farmers, you need tool manufacturers, you need fuel producers, you need farmers and ranchers and food producers just to get, and so much more, right? And all of this is done internationally. In other words, everything is connected. And then you got to get the rubber internationally, and that requires all kinds of resources and so on and so forth. And so the thing that this essay and this video of iPencil really demonstrates is that we are all connected. And in fact, it even goes so far as to show that you and I, right now, are making pencils. We're also making pens. We're also making cars. The things that we are doing right now at this moment are contributing to this huge, massive economy that has no central planner, no central authority, and yet the economy knows where to put the resources in order to get the work done, right? And yeah, Michael, this includes overseas, right? And by the way, any of you who take classes at Salt Lake Community College, take Management 1060. I teach Management 1060, which is international business. And you see that we're all connected. We are all interconnected. Okay? And that's the invisible hand. That is the invisible hand. All right, so now what I want to do, this is where we get to have some fun. And we're going to start racking up some gamification points here. We are going to watch this video. All right, we're going to watch this old propaganda cartoon from the 1940s. And I want you to look for these things. Do me a favor, pull out a little notepad right now, or on your tablet or your computer or your phone, take a note or just take a picture of this screen right now, because I want you to look for private capital, private wealth and investment of capital, profit motive, free markets, laissez-faire, and the invisible hand. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start playing this cartoon, and I will stop it frequently. I will stop the cartoon frequently to say, hey, what's happening here? And we're going to see all these things at work. Now, by the way, it's a propaganda cartoon, so of course, capitalism is wonderful and fantastic and marvelous and beyond reproach, right? And this is happening during the Cold War, so we really want to show off capitalism. But without intending, they show some of the prices of capitalism too. We're going to explore those, okay? So with that, let me pull up this. We'll go ahead and pull this on over here, and I'm going to pull this up here. I'm going to hit pause, and then we'll do a quick test. I'm going to come on over here, get out of the way for a bit. And as I play this, let me know if you can hear it okay. If you can hear it and hear me.
Our story begins. He is headed for the old fishing hole. Uh-oh. Too bad. Freddie had helped his mother make soft soap to sell to their friends and neighbors.
Shucks, if I didn't have to work. Think of all the fun I could be having.
Okay, so let's pause here. And hopefully, I think you can still hear me, so we should be all right. So Freddie's making soap because that's his family chore job. And he's sitting here thinking, boy, if I didn't have to work, think of all the fun I could have. So he wants to go fishing. He wants to go fishing. And so the profit motive right now is saying, you want to go fishing, you need to find a way to do this chore better, more efficiently, so that you can go fishing. Everybody remember, Freddie wants to go fishing. That is his profit motive driver. Okay? Let's watch this.
Gee.
Freddie tries to figure out an easier and quicker way to make soap. He goes to work to make his dreams of fun come true. After years of working night and day, Freddie's experiments bring success.
Soap in cakes.
Okay, now the idea here is that he's using innovation, creativity, imagination, innovation to try to find a way to make this product more appealing and easier to make so that he can leave it all behind and go fishing, right? So this is one of the arguments for the profit motive and for free market, is that it spurs innovation, right? So far we've got this.
Pretty soon, word gets around to the housewives who want shorter, easier wash days and cleaner clothes.
Now, notice the housewives want shorter, easier wash days and cleaner clothes. Okay? So Freddie's profit motive is more free time to go fishing and money and so forth, whereas the women there, and this is the 1940s, please forgive the misogynistic bullcrap you're seeing here, right? But they want cleaner, easier, faster wash days and so forth. And so now we've got this free market coming together because both profit motives need each other.
Freddie's soap is just what they need. He invests his profits in larger quarters and new equipment to make...
Okay, he invests his profits in larger quarters and new equipment, right? So far, we've seen the profit motive, we've seen free market, and now we're seeing the investment of capital to grow the business, okay?
Make enough soap to satisfy the demand. Finally, his dreams come true. Time off for fun on Saturday. Hey, Freddie, a guy can fish anytime.
At 23 skidoo.
Goodbye, Freddie.
Hopelessly in love, he wants to make good in a big way. So, back to work.
Hopelessly in love, he wants to make good in a big way. So, back to work. Profit motive, it's never enough. I want you to notice that poor sod did not go fishing. And spoiler alert, he never goes fishing. Okay? His profit motive has now shifted. He's now no longer interested in free time and fishing. He's now interested in getting, well, her, right? So he needs to impress, and so he needs to earn more and so forth. We're going to talk about this in future lectures about pecuniary emulation and conspicuous consumption and so forth. Right now, though, his profit motive says he wants to get some, so he needs to make good in a big way.
As the company grows, it brings the railroad and other businesses to town. Increased property taxes from the thriving community help to build better schools, streets, parks.
Okay, so now we're seeing the invisible hand, right? We also see the invisible hand because he was helping the woman. That's true. Okay, yes, very good. We're also seeing and as a matter of fact, that's very good. I'll mark it up. We're seeing the invisible hand happen in the community, right? Freddie has no intention of building schools and libraries and railroads and so forth. But as business does well and they pay property taxes, people want more and more services. And so those property taxes go into building these things, right? So if you're here in Utah and you go out to Point of the Mountain out by Thanksgiving Point, you kind of see what I'm talking about. A few big tech companies have gone in there, and now the whole Point of the Mountain, that whole region there in Lehigh and so forth, is just exploding. That isn't done with any central planning. That's done because of the invisible hand. But I want you to know something else as we go along here.
Libraries, playgrounds, and waterworks. Taxes even help to provide more and better governmental services, such as police protection.
Okay, now I want you to pay close attention to this. This cartoon is making an important assertion. They are saying that more taxes make government services available, such as schools, libraries, and protection, and so on and so forth. But now, I want you to notice the kind of how that comes about. Increased business brings about more tax revenue, which means more services. Now, this is like classic conservative ideology. And I'm not saying that conservative ideology is right or wrong. I'm just pointing out this is conservative ideology. Conservative ideology says, listen, if you want increased services, you got to pay for those services. And the way you pay for those services is through taxes. And the best way to increase tax revenue is not to raise taxes, but to decrease regulation so that business can thrive. And as business thrives and grows and expands, it increases taxes. So even if your tax revenue is 5% of a huge bucket, that's better than 10% of a small bucket. So the conservative stance is that government services are really a result of thriving capitalism and business. So when you see conservative politicians and so forth talking about lowering taxes for corporations and so forth, this is what they're talking about. They want corporations to grow because that creates more tax revenue. Now, again, I'm not saying yay or nay. I'm saying that's the ideology behind it. But notice, I didn't see that cop pay for it. They're trying to be cute, but they just kind of pointed to some corruption.
Before long, Freddie becomes a successful businessman.
Doesn't he look like a successful businessman? Before long, Freddie becomes a successful businessman. Now, I know they're trying to be cute, but people, this is frickin' real. And in the next couple of weeks, we're going to talk about this in depth. So notice Freddie never went fishing. He eventually gets married. We're about to see that. But the guy is losing his hair and becoming heavier and living on Alka-Seltzer because he has an ulcer. The profit motive is killing him because it's never enough. Okay? Now, we're going to talk about this in depth. Right now, they're just trying to be cute. But apparently in capitalism, this is the sign of a successful man. Somebody who's losing his hair, working his butt off, and trying to deal with an ulcer. Oh my gosh.
And incidentally, a successful husband and father. Fudsy's expanding company creates all kinds of jobs that never existed before.
Expanding company creating jobs that never existed before. This is the invisible hand.
To increase production and sales, Fudsy builds up a strong labor management team. Each year, he invests a portion of his profits in research to develop better soap that can be made to sell at lower prices. The Fudsy Company continues to grow with the years because it makes a good soap, which in competition with others sells at a fair price. Competition forces each manufacturer to improve his product, to sell it for less, and to give the consumer more for a dollar than his competitor. And Fudsy is hard to beat.
Okay, free market, right? Remember, free market is one of the principles of capitalism. So he's competing in an open and free market. Better innovation, better prices, better quality product, more features, things like that. But now watch this, okay? We are about to see some laissez-faire happening. We've seen all the other principles except laissez-faire. Watch laissez-faire.
Finally, he gets so many orders, he realizes that one factory simply can't meet the demand. His profit motive starts sparking to figure out a way to increase production. He forms a corporation and issues stock to raise money to build factories from coast to coast.
More capital investment.
Futzy's employees have faith in his management and back him with their savings. Banks loan depositors money to help finance the expansion program.
Now, I want you to notice here, by the way, all these people are lending him money not because they love his soap, but for their own selfish reasons. They want a return on their investment. So this is the invisible hand, once again showing how people acting in their own selfish best interest can still help society.
Insurance companies loan the funds of their policyholders to help build the factories. Stock exchanges act as a clearinghouse for people from all walks of life to buy securities. Before long, everybody gets plenty of soap. At last, Futzy's success is complete. Soap City. The profit motive which drove Futzy to accomplish so much may bring out the evil as well as the good.
Hello?
Futzy, old boy, I've got a great idea.
Between us, we control 70% of the country's soap sales.
Yeah, but quiet. Let's see what's cooking. I smell trouble.
Let's raise and fix our prices.
Controlling 70% of the market where we do clean up.
Terrific. We'll make millions. Millions. Go.
Quiet. Okay, Sam, it's a deal.
Okay, let me explain what just went down. Okay, between Sam and Futzy or whatever, right, Freddie, they control 70% of the soap market. And so they get together and say, listen, I'll tell you what, let's both raise our prices to the same amount, and then we just leave our prices right there. And since we control 70% of the market, we're going to make a mint, right? Now, this is illegal, all right? But watch what happens.
You'll be sorry.
Futzy and Sam Sudso raise and fix prices, but the result is not what they expect. A competitor comes along with a good bar of soap that sells at a lower price. Since shoppers always seek maximum value, only the lower priced soap sells, while Futzy and Sam Sudso's profits turn into losses.
Okay, now, what it's asserting here is that if you just let the free market work alone, we're talking laissez-faire here, right? If you just let the free market work as it's supposed to work naturally, then you don't need to put in regulations saying, no, tisk, tisk, don't fix prices, because the market will punish you. All right? That's what this is asserting right now, is just let the market do what it does, and people who are dishonest will be punished. Listen to what they say next.
99 times out of 100, competition works. When it doesn't, the government steps in to prevent monopolistic attempts.
99 times out of 100, free market competition works. When it doesn't work, government should step in. Now, you know as well as I do that 73% of all statistics are made up. But I think it's interesting that 99% of the time competition works, so you don't need regulation. Don't bother regulating. I suppose if there's some monopolistic behavior going in, you need some courts to step in and so forth. But yeah, they're kind of just saying, let it be. Now watch this next thing.
That was a tough break. Now the next time...
Okay, this is important. Why is he all of a sudden a saint? Not because he found religion, not because he read a book on ethics. He is now a saint because his profits got hit. What this video and what this line of thinking invites us to believe is that people in business will act ethically Not because there are laws, rules, and regulations, and not because, we're naturally, religious or ethical or anything. People will make ethical decisions because of the profit motive. They don't want their profits hurting. They don't want their position in the market to get slammed. Therefore, from now on, Freddie is going to make only ethical decisions, not because he's ethical, but because of the profit motive. Isn't that interesting? So when politicians say we shouldn't legislate morality, they're saying you don't need to legislate morality. People will make the ethical decision because that's what's going to pay the most. That's their assertion. Again, in the next couple of weeks and lectures, we're going to challenge this assertion, but I find it fascinating.
Only a business operating at a steady profit can give its workers security and employee benefits. Operating at a profit, a business can provide the employee with comfortable, colorful working conditions, high wages, and steady employment.
Okay, so supposedly a company operating at a steady profit, laissez-faire, free markets, all that sort of stuff, can offer high wages, steady employment, right? By the way, Adrian here says they aren't controlling money or profit. They are being controlled by them. Being controlled by them. I like it. Yes.
First aid and health protection.
Now notice what this video has done, this cartoon has done, is it has linked employment with healthcare, okay? Now there's a whole fascinating history about here in the United States, how we back in World War I and World War II and so forth, we kind of made some policy decisions that linked employment with healthcare. And these decisions have only escalated since, right? And so today, here in the United States, up until the Affordable Care Act, which, hasn't worked too terribly well, but its heart is in the right place, the only way you got health care is if you were employed. If you weren't employed, you didn't get health care. It is not seen in the United States as a basic human right. So this video kind of shows that link between, well, only commerce, only industry can provide health care. Nobody else can.
Accident and life insurance. Time off for vacation.
Woo.
The employee working for a profitable business can maintain a savings account, own his own home, and have plenty of leisure to enjoy the peace and quiet of family life.
That is all invisible hand. Remember, Freddie isn't making soap because he wants to hire people and put them on vacation. He's making soap for his own selfish reasons, right? But the invisible hand says, Freddie, I don't care why you're making soap. That value is going to be distributed and help the economy in countless ways.
When investors receive fair dividends, they are eager to supply industry with a steady flow of capital to create new tools and plants, which in
Protestant
turn
work
create
ethic.
new jobs. With business prosperous and employment high, the farmer has a ready and profitable market for the sale of his produce. When businesses all over the country operate at a steady profit, our economic health is tops.
When businesses operate at a steady profit, our economic health is tops, right? So let's finish it up.
Billions in taxes paid out of profits flow into local, state, and governments. The profit motive has been the driving force back of the growth of American industry. The American system of free enterprise will give the young people of today the freedom of opportunity to develop ideas which will make a better way of life for the children of tomorrow.
And here's Elon Musk. And there you go. There you go. By the way, I saw all kinds of great comments and so forth. So we are just going to take you guys up to some 10s. I also saw some great discussions within the chat. So we're going to go ahead and put that up to a 10 as well. So, you know what that means? 10:44. Email me after the lecture a timestamp of 10:44, and you will be in great shape. I'll even put that right here. 10:44. Let's see if I did it before. I was about to say, see if I did it before somebody else, and I just beat Damien. Great. Here's a quote I'm going to end us with. This is from Henry Rollins. Henry Rollins, you might know him. He was the lead singer of a punk band called Black Flag. You've never heard of Black Flag. You've never listened to them. I grew up with it. Henry Rollins is kind of like this, iconoclast motivational guy now. He says, I love capitalism. It rewards me for being brave. It awards me for being innovative and thinking out of the box. Yes, Black Flag, exactly, Scott. And that's what capitalism is really all about, everything we've seen here. And by the way, I don't disagree. And just to be clear, in case everybody wonders, right? I'm a fan of capitalism. I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. I think it works well. It does not work super well. There's plenty of problems with capitalism. And we are going to talk about those problems in depth in our upcoming lectures. We saw some of the problems in that video, right? Where Freddie is going bald and dying of an ulcer, and there's unethical things going around and so forth. Nevertheless, it's a great system, but it can be better. So we're going to talk about some of the flaws of capitalism going forward, and then we're going to talk about some of the solutions after that, all right? So great work, everyone. You did really well. Thank you very much for your contributions. And we're all set. So as always, I'll stick around. We've had some great conversation here, so if you have any questions, let me know. But otherwise, have a great rest of your Monday and a great week. All right? We'll see you later.